There are many people who believe Colin Kaepernick is being blackballed, and apparently one of those people is Kaepernick himself, as the former San Francisco 49ers quarterback, who has remained unemployed for months, is pursuing his options to file a grievance against the NFL owners. CBS Sports NFL insider Jason LeConfort reports, the obvious gist of this grievance would be that Kaepernick has been unemployed not because of his skill set, but because he decided to take a knee during the national anthem back in 2016 preseason in protest of racial inequalities that exist in America. Prominent criminal defense lawyer Mark Garagos, who is representing Kaepernick in grievance proceedings, has now issued a statement. "We can confirm that this morning we filed a grievance under the CBA on behalf of Colin Kaepernick. This was done only after pursuing every possible avenue with all the NFL teams and their executives. If the NFL, as well as all professional sports leagues, is to remain a meritocracy, then principled and peaceful political protest, which the owners themselves made great theater imitating weeks ago, should not be punished, and athletes should not be denied employment based on partisan political provocation by the executive branch of our government. Such a precedent threatens all patriotic Americans and harkens back to our darkest days as a nation. Protecting all athletes from such collusive conduct is what compelled Mr. Kaepernick to file his grievance." Colin Kaepernick's goal has always been, and remains, to simply be treated fairly by the league he performed at the highest level for and return to the football playing field. The NFLPA also released a statement Sunday night. "Our union has a duty to assist Mr. Kaepernick as we do all players, and we will support him." The NFLPA has been in regular contact with Mr. Kaepernick's representatives for the past year about his options, and our union agreed to follow the direction of his advisors throughout that time. "We first learned through media reports today that Mr. Kaepernick filed a grievance claiming collusion through our arbitration system and is represented by his own counsel. We learned that the NFL was informed of his intention to file this grievance before today. We are scheduling a call with his advisors for early this week." Players taking knees became a thing during the 2016 season and really mushroomed as the 2017 season began. There were hundreds of players taking knees in the early weeks of the season, with things getting particularly heated after President Donald Trump said NFL owners should fire any son of a b who doesn't stand for the anthem. Kaepernick opted out of his contract with the 49ers this past offseason, but GM John Lynch later confirmed the team was planning on releasing him regardless of the decision Cap made. It was believed, in a league where quarterbacks are the most important currency, that Kaepernick would find a job with some team. But he couldn't get a backup gig, much less a starting gig. The New York Jets signed Josh McCown, the Browns traded for Brock Osweiler and drafted Deshaun Kaiser, the Houston Texans pursued Tony Romo but ended up drafting Deshaun Watson, and the Miami Dolphins even dragged Jay Cutler out of retirement. Backup quarterbacks around the league being signed led to Kaepernick supporters melting down when Blaine Gabbert was signed by the Arizona Cardinals. People freaked out and they lost their daggum minds when Austin Davis signed with the Seattle Seahawks. The Tennessee Titans saw Marcus Mariota suffer an injury and promptly signed Brandon Weeden, which is pretty hard to stomach. Kep has gotten some visits, but nothing panned out. The Seahawks took a look at Kaepernick as well, but ultimately passed after a workout. Pete Carroll said he believed Cap wanted to be a starter, not a backup. Or maybe Seattle didn't want Cap sitting on the roster behind Russell Wilson. The Baltimore Ravens expressed interest in him when Joe Flacco suffered a preseason injury, but then things got awkward because management felt as if they needed to check with fans and sponsors before agreeing to sign Kaepernick. Owner Steve Biscotti asked everyone to pray for us. The Ravens ended up sticking with Ryan Mallett as their backup. They are, by far, the best example of why Kaepernick is not working for reasons other than football. It's difficult to imagine Cap being blackballed in the truest sense of the word. 32 NFL owners and teams are not conspiring to keep someone from working. But it is not unreasonable to believe that Kaepernick's decision to take a knee has cost him an opportunity to play football, which is likely the basis for his grievance. The grievance will likely garner a lot of support, but it may be irrelevant in terms of how successful it can actually be.